Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's proclamation news and governance. We're in the absolute sovereignty of the whole land. It's proclamations inside Westminster. We're inside the committee today. Absolutely phenomenal. Thank you all for tuning in. It's bona fide conservatism. It's just got Will, a brand new edition on proclamation news and governance. It's the prodigious. It's the Professor Johnson at PNG. Shaken, not stirred. Brexit on a dish. Brexit on a dish. We'll be exiting January with Brexit out of the EU. Thank you for watching. We've got today's usual formation, so stay tuned and please help multiply the channel. The followers, the subscribers, everyone supporting the show day in, day out. Tony Angel, if you're there, thank you so much for being a loyal supporter. If you could send me your email address, I will send you a complimentary free giveaway for supporting the show. It's been absolutely phenomenal, my friend. Absolutely phenomenal. You've been such a loyal support, it's unreal. So here we go with the introduction. You know, I'll always have an introduction for the show, and then we'll get into today's modern society of politics. UK politics from inside West. Absolutely front bench politics. Absolutely overwhelmed with the support.
Eco-system solutions to our environment. Talk about hydropower, anything, you know, you've got to take a part, you need to have your voice heard. And involved in environmental friendly and stop pollution to businesses, such as all kinds of business, farming, pollution of the air, you get involved. So to start. Well, I'll give you a bit of detail. Firstly, please subscribe, share. I want more subscribers, more followers. It's the business that finds better PNG. You have to get involved. Speak to one of your local constituency MPs. I'm a conservative trainee councillor at the moment. I'm looking at this business, sociological side of things in business. How do you interrupt in a business? Maybe a business too close to a suburban area in a study of criminology. Anyway, as a member, if you want to become a member, as a member, you can play a key role in the party, supporting the work we're doing in government and contributing the ideas, policies and future of the party. You're invited to join us at party conference and to attend local and national events. And if you just join us, once you've been a member for 3 months, you can also take part in the party elections. To reduce our environmental impact, we are no longer issuing plastic membership cards. Please be assured that this does not impact your membership. You will never be asked to use the card to provide your membership. Our members are our most important campaigns. Your support is enabling us to build a bright future. It's not exactly that. I think it's £25 a year. I play, I think it's £2 a month. You play all a month. You feel you've got that at a takeaway at the weekend or a takeaway once a week. Something you do. There's nothing at all. We'll go to the pub. You know, spending money on cut down the activities. You want to help have your voice heard. It's very important. What your membership gets you, it doesn't get you fish and chips, well, what's it get you? You know, it's very important to subscribe to proclamation news and governance, giving you the key evidence of what's entailed. Sign up for a fight on conservative. I always say fight conservative, work on progressive progression. You help us for elections. All of your subscription goes towards that campaign. It gets the latest from inside the party. The regular member invite. Take part in a campaign groups like our Conservative Women's Organisation, the Young Conservatives, or Conservative Friends. Conservative Friends Group. Meet like-minded people will make a difference to our country. The influence party policy by giving feedback on policies and delivery. Choose candidates and vote for leadership elections so you can choose the people you want to represent you. Come to party conference and spring forum. Join our LMPs, councillors and activists at the biggest events of the Conservative calendar. Connect with local Conservatives as a member. You become part of your local association, support local campaigns and attend social events with members just like you. So, being part of something, it's like, supporting your local football team, supporting the whole environment, supporting the government, being in part of something. It's very important to be part of something. You want to be something, you want to go somewhere, so you need to wake up and pay attention. Stand for election as a member, you have the opportunity to stand for election as a Conservative. So if you decide that you want to take part in that democracy, you can. This is proclamation news and gathering with the procedure of Tom Professor at PNG, ladies and gentlemen. Help share and subscribe. I need more listeners. I put a lot of entertainment onto my YouTube channel, singing, all kinds of entertainment, a bit of comedy. I've had a bit of comedy in the recent past. It's worth following my YouTube channel to get an insight. It's good content. It's good. I've got a lot of segments on my YouTube. Like an entrepreneur as such. Singing, rapping, all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to bring a wide audience into my YouTube channel. It should be a YouTube channel with massive gatherings, but not enough subscribers. So the more subscribers, the more benefit is. This is a business, a small growing business. It needs to be backed by the exchequer with a big paycheck and to get this ball rolling. This is proclamation news and gathering with a prodigious upon professor. This has been going for over 2 years now. Media studies since 1994, 95, I believe. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for giving me time of day. Make sure you tune in. I'll be following through my live content shortly. Take care, my love, and speak soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for actually coming. I need more like-minded, adequate, pragmatic people like yourself listening. I had an interview today with another, hopefully, proclamation news and gatherings consumer speaker, Tony speaker, entertainer for the audience. I can't wait. Had an interview over the phone. We're going to meet up possibly sometime next week, have a coffee. They studied university, PhD in English and also events manager as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being so patient. Thank you for coming and listening with our daily news update. Please feel obliged to share. I need to build an ethical audience with like-minded people like yourselves. We need critical thinkers to jump on board and support the show. If you see something you don't think's accurate, please feel the need to have some adequate further research as we move ahead in today's modern society. I don't get everything in a pragmatic, formatic sense by myself. It's the people that make the choice. I provide details. We as listeners, we as presenters, you're a presenter with me. I'm not presenting on my own. You're helping me build back better. When I say build back better, I don't mean I'm going to build the UK better, but build yourself. We're all going through hard times in life, living a life through purgatory. I'm probably the best candidate to be sitting in this seat at the moment. I've been through time and time again. I've still got my head above water when really I should be at 30 foot under. I've died 3 times when I was 18. I'm not blowing my own trumpet, trying to get violent out or trying to be narcissistic. But when many would fall back, I did pick myself up, and I'm still here to living, telling the tale today. I am somewhat, distraught with certain scenarios in life, but ain't real. How I see it, there's always someone worse off round the corner. So that is why I'm not acting in such a narcissistic way. Almost sitting on that borderline of being narcissistic, but also realising there's a virtue out there for everyone. There's always... I come to the spaghetti junction at Birmingham, basically, in my life. I don't know what route to take next to get that divine elevation, to get that success. I want you to do exactly the same. We'll win it together. We're all in it to win it. Get rich or die trying. That's all I can say. There's aspirations out there in every government sector. There's not always the support you need. I haven't had the support I needed. I need some shoulder to cry on. I need someone to talk to help distress my current situation. Not just the current climate of the pandemic, because we're all going through that, aren't we? Everyone's going through the pandemic. Pandemic, to me, how do I pull myself through the pandemic? Same as yourself. Try and better your aspirations. We're going to go into 2021 with a better life chance. So we take on all different courses. You know, my media channel is becoming more predominantly organised in fashion. The way I can polarise it now, look at the media, it's sitting inside Westminster from my own living room. Absolute phenomenal. Gives it that unique, elegant glance as you look in, as you support the show. It feels like we're in it. It feels like we're part of it, on the forefront of the nation, because we're all struggling in life, aren't we? You know, but luckily, as a UK citizen, there are support for the good doers in life. I'm trying to be a good doer to provide my family. I'm trying to be a good doer to better myself, to get back on track, to get back on the road, to support a family. Exactly what I need to do. I've been hit with life hurdles. I've been trying to jump over them, jump under them, even run through them at times when times have been hard. You know, we all have problems in life. Our families get older. Our people live have loved ones, lost ones. You know, we're fighting it every day as it comes. With Christmas, the cold months are one worst times of the year. We get cold hands, cold feet, bad back. Everyone has pains, arthritis. We're getting older, aren't we? We're not getting younger. We're fighting every day as it comes. You know, you're sitting there at your job. You've been furloughed off work because of the COVID-19 predicament. Your business has had to close down due to public austerity. And you're sitting here, what can I be and keep myself preoccupied? What job can I do next to keep myself in work? What can I do for the better of my mental health, to support my, mentality, to support my mentality? We're all thinking exactly the same perspective, aren't we, in life? What can I do for the better of my mentality? Mental health before wealth. You know, a man with £1 million is not necessarily, because you would say he's a wealthy man, because wealthy becomes wealth and health. If you've got £1 million in your bank and you're not looking after your mental health, your health, you're not a wealthy man, are you? You can't say you're a wealthy man. We've got £10 million in the bank, but I'm totally obese. I'm totally distraught. I'm totally inadequate of the way I feel. Inadequate the way I can use my mentality to give other people aspirations and guidance in life. I'm not saying I'm perfect, because I'm not. I'm far beyond perfect. I've got many flaws. I'm still trying to better my foundations as we speak. Same as all my listeners, all my supporters today. We go to church, we go to the gym, we're trying to eat healthy. There's many things that we're all trying to do today to better ourselves, to be a better father, to be a better brother, to be a better son. I don't want to fail at life. I don't suppose you do either. We want to better ourselves. So we're in this together. And thank you all for tuning in today. Absolute phenomenal. Please share. When I say share, I don't want you to support me because I'm being narcissistic. I'm trying to help. Say it from not a judgmental side of life, but I'm trying to judgmental the people coming in. I'm just saying it from my perspective, how I see things. So don't please come in here and think I'm trying to excruciate any other people that come in, because I'm sort of taking a minority away that are struggling, but I'm trying to, at the same time, give you the same guidance in life that I've kept myself grounded with, and I'm trying to pursue a better life for myself. Mate, I'm not saying we should all do the same thing. All have different scenarios. We all struggle in different scenarios in life. Some of us get through life through alcoholism, maybe narcotics and numb the pain. Maybe your situation is a different deflect to mine. My mentality has always been sport. I've been very sportive, football or running or boxing. I've kept my mind preoccupied in different areas. Even now I'm typing, I'm doing artwork. I'm trying to polarise an audience. I want them to come through and support me, but I want you to come through and support me in a delicate way, where I'm not trying to mock the audience because you're doing your life wrong. I'm just trying to maybe you might relate to what I'm saying. You are doing your life slightly wrong. You'd like to better yourself. But admitting your flaws is very, very beneficial to better yourself for your girlfriend, for your mum, your dad, or your kids. You know, I mean, I'm in a situation. I'm not perfect. I'm in a situation. I mean, I like to think I'm perfect role model for my children, but I'm in a situation now where I haven't seen my kids for 3 years. So I'm an alienated father. So anyone suffering parent alienation at this time of year is the worst, absolute, frequent time of the year. Wake up Christmas Day. Remember these Christmas days? You used to wake up at the end of your bed. Your kids' stocking. You used to sit there and open the presents. That you broke every single bone in your body to put presents in your Santa sack to support your children. See their smile, their gleaming smile on their face, and they go, "Thanks, Santa." But you know full well that you was that Santa Claus. You know full well that you left the mince pie, the milk, and the carrot out for Santa and the reindeers. Telling your children that's what it was, and you lost everything due to the system. The system don't just fail average Joe Bloggs, they fail, everyone. You've got people, I could be sitting in the front seat of this biggest judiciary right behind me right now. I could be sitting in the front seat and still be having the same hurdles to climb, the same hurdles to get under. So don't think them people sitting in them green chairs are any different to the likes of me and you. Our voice should be heard, and our voice should be supported. Everyone's going for life purpose. It doesn't matter if you're in there. There might be the wealthiest people in the country sitting in them green chairs behind me. But let me tell you, I'm living purely of the aesthetics of life. I took every single hurdle at life, every Satan dart that's been hurled at me. I'm still sitting here saying, come on, we can do this together. I'm still sitting here living pure of the aesthetics of life. These people sitting in these green chairs, they go out the back. They go drink the free, tax-free alcoholic beverages. They've got a wonderful life, aristocratic lifestyle. I could talk in an elegant sense because I've been brought up predominantly by Queen's Grenadier Guards. My granddad, my cousin Jonathan, I've been brought up around a populist, fashion, quite a fashionable, organised family. And when I put a voice on, I don't know if you guys heard me on YouTube, I can put a great posh accent because my granddad was made in Chelsea. My granddad was made in Chelsea. He was also a Grenadier Guard. I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet because look behind me, I've got nothing apart from this predicament of not really sitting in Parliament. But it makes the show look predominantly more aristocratic lifestyle, doesn't it? Anyway, moving on, ladies and gents. Thank you for supporting the show. Getting Brexit done. Mr. Bojo. Do you think Bojo has done a great job as a Prime Minister? As much as he hasn't let me in number 10 for a cup of tea or sent me a train ticket to go and play charades at the coffee table, eating croissants and a nice sip of Earl Grey. You'd think he would, wouldn't you? All the support I do day in, day out. But it doesn't matter because I support him just for the significant fact that we both got the same surname, if it's through marriage or whatever. But I've been a great follower of his for years. My mum's had cancer. He's also helped my mum fight the cancer. Hello, what's up, world? Your name is. How are you doing? Thank you all for listening. I've got podcast and Castbox on all at the same time. As we move on today's formation, here we go. I just want to say thank you for joining in, supporting my show. It's absolutely phenomenal. What we're going to get through today. Brexit on a dish every day. Brexit. Boris Johnson in crunch with the EU trade talks. Still talks in Brussels. Boris Johnson, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen are trying to break the deadlock over post-Brexit trade deal in Brussels. It's like a game of tennis, isn't it? It's like a game of Tetris trying to get this. Are we going with Brexit or are we going to exit with Brexit? And what's the Louis Vuitton on this ordeal here, Mr. Bojo? There we go. Anyway, the PM is holding talks with the German politician followed by dinner alongside the UK and the EU's negotiators, Lord Frost and Michael Barriner. So they're followed by dinner. Is it a complimentary dinner to try and soften the blow to get Brexit done? What is it? What is it? Here we go. In today's headlines, stay tuned. Make sure you share it. Sharing's caring. Sharing, multiplying is very beneficial. We're trying to get these critical fingers. How can you emphasise today's modern politics? You've got all different variations of speakers. What do you enjoy? Do you enjoy coming to listen to PNG? I enjoy you come to support me. I know that. It's very beneficial that you enjoy the show. I feel like I'm a bit of a Piers Morgan, but a bit more updated. Negotiations between the sides are deadlocked and amid disputes over fair competition rules and fishing quotas. Mr Johnson said the EU has made demands on Prime Minister. He could accept. Before leaving for Brussels, Mr Johnson tweeted that there was still a good deal to be done, but that the UK would thrive whatever that outcome. But time is running out to reach a deal before the 31st of December, when the UK stops following the EU trading rules and leaves the 27-member bloc internal market and customs union. So does that mean we're going to take back the fishery rights? I think it does, because it's just about to come up right now. Major disagreements. It remains on access to UK fishing waters, how far the UK will diverge from the EU environmental and labour standards, and how a deal will be policed. Mr Johnson and Miss von der Leyen, who is representing leaders of 27 EU nations, he paused for photos as she welcomed him to the Commission's headquarters. After removing their masks for a matter of seconds, the PM told his host, "You run a tight ship here, Ursula." The two leaders are due to hold talks for about 30 minutes before sitting down for dinner, during which they will work through a list of the major sticking points with their negotiators, Lord Frost and Mr Barnier, and a handful of officials. The hope is that the meeting will open up the political space for negotiators to resume their work in the forthcoming days. We can look at the Brexit basis. I mean, we still want to know. We want to get this signed and delivered. I'm pretty sure everyone in the Conservative office, even Labour, SNP, whatever your politics, probably even if you're in the US, you're a Republican or whatever you are, in the United States, you want to know what's going on in the UK. Is this deal going to get done and dusted? So we see something new in the media. We want to see something fresh in the media, not just Brexit, not just COVID. Can we have something new? I've been fighting Brexit since day one, like this time last year. You can look down through my YouTube videos. I was there in Parliament as Boris Johnson took Theresa May's seat. Absolute phenomenal for me, being a Johnson. I was there, and when it happened, I was doing a live speech outside in Hatfield, outside my friend's chip shop there. I've got such a great friendship base in Hatfield. Serkan, the owner of the chip shop where I was giving a helping hand, I said, it's a great day to be a Johnson today, as Boris Johnson took the leadership. If it's through marriage or whether it's through, I am overwhelmed to be part of this establishment. PNG. Brexit, the basics. Brexit happened, but rules didn't change at once. The UK left the European Union on the 31st of January 2020, but leaders needed time to negotiate a deal for life afterwards. They got 11 months. Talks are happening. The UK and the EU have until the 31st December 2020 to agree a trade deal, as well as other things, such as fishing rights. If there is a no deal, border checks and taxes will be introduced for goods travelling between the UK and the EU. But, deal or no deal, we will still see changes. But what is to happen next with the Brexit? What is going to happen next with the Brexit? That's what, we want to know. We want it delivered. Deliver this Brexit at once. It comes at a critical time in the process, with the EU leaders holding their first scheduled summit of the year in Brussels on Thursday and Friday. Charles Michel, the head of the European Council, has said it is unlikely that 27 leaders will formally discuss the trade negotiations, but Ms von der Leyen will brief Emmanuel Macron and Angela Merkel and others. Is Angela Merkel? Do you think if you had a choice between Angela Merkel and Nicola Sturgeon, who would it be? Seriously, I mean, I don't need to be, talk about sexuality here, but they're not the. Well, it doesn't really matter, does it? It's not going to sexuality in a politician world. It's not right. It's not right. It's not vocal. It doesn't sound right, does it? We're in an aristocratic lifestyle right now. We don't be talking about sexuality in the amongst the Commons and the different parliamentary leaders from across the pond. Absolutely not. Anyway, ahead of Wednesday's dinner, it emerged the European Commission is set to publish its contingency plans for a no-deal outcome on Thursday morning. It's impossible to know, a senior EU diplomat said. It was impossible to know what might result from the leaders' meeting, and it was up to the UK to decide whether it wants a deal. The solution sought by the Commission and the negotiator take into account the British narrative, as he said. We can have a philosophical discussion about what sovereignty is, but the British narrative is taken into account in a constructive and respectful way. Speaking in Parliament earlier on Wednesday, Mr Johnson pinpointed the areas where he believed the EU needed to give ground in order to seal a deal. Our friends in the EU are currently insisting that if they pass a new law in the future, which we in this country do not comply or do not follow suit, then they want to automatic right to punish us and retaliate. Secondly, they are saying that the UK should be the only country in the world not to have sovereign control over its fishing waters. I don't believe that those are terms that any Prime Minister of this country should accept. I mean, we started off like the big issue, didn't we? Small. We started off a small article, the big issue. This is bigger and a better issue. The name's absolutely, really structured, engineered. Proclamation news and gatherings, absolute populism, taken over by Desert Storm. COVID-19. We're talking about COVID-19. Man that gets vaccination days after his wife's virus death. Poor man has lost his wife due to COVID. What a distraught feeling. His evenings must draw near, cold, lonely. I can imagine how it feels. When I lost my children, they're nights and dark nights you're left on your own to think the pain that has left your body. A man has been given the COVID vaccine days after his wife died after contracting the virus. Ray Whitehead, 79, died on the 1st December after testing positive for COVID-19 at her care home in East Yorkshire. On Tuesday, her husband, Edward, 84, was one of the first to receive the jab at Middlesbrough James Cook Hospital. The couple's surgeon, son Dr. David Whitehead, 49, said he felt relief his father had the jab, but heartbreak his mother could not be saved. Mr. Whitehead, 49, an ENT consultant in Middlesbrough, who also received the jab with his father, is also a retired ENT surgeon, said it's heartbreaking on the one hand and also potential relief on the other. My father and I are deeply saddened that had we not put my mother in a nursing home, she would maybe be alive today and could have had the vaccine. Her life slipped away. A week later, the vaccine is being rolled out. Dr. Whitehead has said his mother, who had worked as a civil servant before having children, had spent her life looking after us as a family. He said he had contracted coronavirus himself in March and a temperature and a sensation as if my head was being ball dived. He said the BBC rollout of the vaccine has made him proud. This is the good thing about NHS because it's nationalised. We have this ability and the power to have these interactions with a large pharmaceutical company so that this sort of thing can happen, he has said. I feel quite proud and that we've managed to approve it, a vaccine from a trial so quickly. On Tuesday, UK grandmother Margaret Keenan, who turns 91 next week, become the first person in the world to be given the Pfizer COVID-19 jab as part of a mass vaccination program. like I was suggesting, it might have been an ordeal to get Queen Elizabeth II up first. Using guinea pigs of our own resort. We got the face of the country. Why didn't we give it to them? It doesn't matter. They delivered what they said on the tin. Hopefully, there's no aftermath. Everything is secure and going to proact into their immune system to better them for this current climate. Absolutely. Are you going to have this vaccination? Should it be mandatory? They're making these old people have it, risking old people's lives. So we've got to only but oblige by the rules, haven't we? Only but oblige by the rules. Absolutely. Court finds UK war crimes but will not take action. The International Criminal Court says it will not take action against the UK despite finding evidence British troops have committed war crimes in Iraq. A 180-page report says hundreds of Iraq detainees were abused by British soldiers between 2013 and 2019. I can quite imagine it. But the ICC could not determine whether the UK had acted to shield soldiers from prosecution. The MOD said the ICC report vindicates our efforts to pursue justice where allegations have been found. The ICC told the BBC it is without dispute there is evidence war crimes were committed. Its report said there was a reasonable basis to conclude that at least 7 Iraqis were illegally killed while British custody between April and September 2003. The ICC report refers to evidence of a pattern of war crimes carried out across a number of years by soldiers from several British regiments. Some detainees were raped or subject to sexual violence. Others were beaten so badly they died from their injuries. The Iraqi individuals, many of them civilians, were unarmed and in British custody at the time. UK government has repeatedly accused human rights lawyers of bringing vexatious claims, but the ICC said it is dangerous to describe the entire body involving hundreds of claimants as baseless and spurious. A BBC Panorama investigation last year revealed that the British detectives have also found credible evidence of war crimes committed in Iraq. But the programme discovered that despite this, not one of the cases were taken forward by the Army's prosecution service. The ICC said it took Panorama's findings very seriously and, on the whole, the information received was consistent with the reports in the programme. It could not rule out that there had been a cover-up on the part of the British authorities. Inadequate. Its report concluded the investigations by the Royal Military Police had been inadequate and were marred by a lack of independence and impartiality. However, it could not make a determination as whether the UK had acted to shield soldiers from prosecution. The ICC said it will reopen the examination of the UK's conduct in Iraq should new factors or evidence come to light. UK's government is currently seeking to introduce controversial new law which will make it harder to prosecute British soldiers. It says that Overseas Operations Service Personnel and Veterans Bill, if passed, delivers the government's manifesto commitment to tackle vexatious claims and end the cycle of re-investigations against our brave armed forces. After scrutinising proposed legislation, Parliament's Joint Human Rights Committee has said, "We found the real problem. It is that the investigation into incidents have been inadequate, insufficiently resourced and insufficiently independent and not done in a timely manner." The government is effectively using the existence of an inadequate investigation as a reason to legislate to bring in further barriers to bring prosecutions on to providing justice for victims. There is a palpable sense of relief inside the Ministry of Defence that the International Criminal Court will not be pursuing a case against the UK government over allegation that British forces in Iraq committed serious war crimes against Iraqi detainees. That is said, there is still the potential that the ICC report will cause the government's problems. The publication comes as the government tries to pass new legislation aimed at protecting troops from what it calls a vexatious claims by lawyers against British troops over allegations of abuse. I mean, this is where you got the other nations talking about, racial abuse, violence? Can it be, made that solidarity doesn't happen? Doesn't sound like it's going to, if you can't prosecute the armed forces for acting, well, it's illiterate, isn't it? It's illiterate, acting not responsible for their actions. They can get away with it by standing on the court scenario. It's a trauma, isn't it? I mean, I've done a lot of network research with other academic influencers, and they're not liking how people get treated by these are legal authorities, aren't they? Absolute legal authorities. Among the proposals of the Overseas Operations Bill is presumption against the prosecution 5 years after any alleged abuse, unless there's compelling new evidence. The legislation, which has already passed its first stage in the Commons, has been widely criticised by the opposition parties, human rights groups, lawyers and some former senior military commanders. The ICC report also raised concerns about legislation. The Minister of Defence says the ICC has brought no new evidence to light. But the ICC prosecutor says the fact allegations investigated by the UK did not result in prosecution does not mean that these claims were vexatious. The words will be seized upon by the bill's critics. One of the investigations by the Royal Military Police featured in last year's Panorama was into the death of Wadi Namar in British custody. The Royal British Police concluded he had died of a heart attack, even though his body and face showed signs he had been beaten. To date, no one has been prosecuted in connection with Wadi Namar's death. His daughter, Afaf Badar Namar, told Panorama, "I saw torture signs of his body. They covered his head and tied his hands. He could not defend himself, and they killed him. It was my wish to see soldiers who committed the crime put on trial and facing justice. If I was a British citizen, my rights would have been respected, but because I am an Iraqi citizen, it seems I have no rights." Defence Secretary Ben Wallace said the ICC review confirms that the UK is willing and able to investigate and prosecute claims of wrongdoing by armed forces personnel. Has said it had brought to light no new evidence and the ICC statement vindicates our efforts to pursue justice where allegations have been founded. I'm pleased to work we have done and continue to do. In improving the quality and assurance around investigations has been recognised by the ICC, has said. The Service Justice in the review and appointment of Sir Richard Henricks to provide assurance of our investigate processes are the steps towards making sure we have done away our best service justice system in the world. I mean, what do you make of that? Armed forces, absolutely scrutinising. I'm doing network research against all other academic students talking about racism, xenophobia from all four fronts of every minority. And I'm very multiculturalism. How can I preach for these illiterate civilians, soldiers, other public authorities that are scrutinizing our name? We're supposed to be a country of equalities. We're supposed to be a country of acceptance. How can we? How do you think people like, I don't know where Priti Patel's origin is, but, that must be somewhere close to which could be Asia, I don't know, but it's still close to her heart, them sort of ethnicity are close to her heart. People like that, they're absolutely phenomenal amongst the Conservative Party. Sadiq Khan as well. For people like them, they're upsetting a different minority group. It's not fair. It needs to be supported. And I actually see where they come from when I'm having these debates with different critical thinkers, like-minded like myself. I'm talking about equalities right across the border. LGBT, every different race. It's almost like they're treating it as a disability. They're not accepted. They're not accepted. We're just going to not listen to the voices of the people that matter, are losing loved ones and lost ones. Imagine, you listeners might be like me. Your nationality is where you are. Whatever happens in your hometown, is satisfied because it's your nationality. But put yourself in that woman's shoes that's lost her parents. Absolutely distraught. Oh, I'm a man of qualities. I see good and bad out of every minority group. I don't like arguing against the black's not accepting the whites, the white's not accepting the black. I hate that. I hate getting in the middle of sitting on the fence. Why can't everyone just bygones be bygones? Because these tragics are happening every day. Exactly why. We had the former EDEC group. We had the BLM movement. You know, these parties, these groups all end up going in the wrong direction, unfortunately. Oh my goodness, what a day, absolutely, it's a prodigious evening, it really is. We come out to Christmas period, I'm absolutely phenomenal, it really is. Look at COVID, we've got COVID headlines in Wales. COVID is not out of control in Wales. First Minister Mark Drakeford insists. Mark Drakeford from Wales. Coronavirus situation in Wales is very difficult but not out of control, according to the country's First Minister. Mark Drakeford, defending his government's decision to have short lockdown of 17 days in autumn. He has faced accusations from the opposition of losing his grip on COVID. It comes as Wales' top doctor says ministers are considering whether new measures might be needed before Christmas. Chief Medical Officer Frank Atherton warned there was a serious pressure on the NHS in this country, particularly in South Wales. The government is already looking at what might be needed after the festive holiday, although the First Minister has suggested on Tuesday that he would not impose new restrictions before Christmas. Mr Drakeford has claimed that the recent rise in cases were partly due to people not being willing to follow the rules. It's pretty much what's happening all over the UK, isn't it? As well as criticised the government's performance of the Welsh Conservatives and Plaid Cymru, called on ministers to think again about a ban on alcohol in pubs and restaurants in a debate on Wednesday. That should happen anyway. I don't know why they've even opened up public hospitality sector in the first place. I really don't. No disrespect in land. I know you want your economic, we all want to earn our crust, we all want to earn a living, but really for the sake of life, realistically, you don't want it open. Health Minister Vaughan Gething warned relaxing the measures would mean more people would die. On Tuesday, it emerged that the Welsh government-owned advisors warned the number of deaths has been above the worst case scenario in recent weeks. Wales had 326.84 cases per 100,000 people in the 7 days up to the 5th of December, up from 223.86 in a week or up to 23rd November. Dr. Atherton said that the rate is now almost 350 cases per 100,000 people. Meanwhile, the Chief Medical Advisor called for people not to mix outside their households in the run-up to Christmas. How do COVID rates in Wales compare with other hotspots? In Wales, the increase in coronavirus rate is generally focused in the more densely populated parts of the country, which include the south and Wrexham in the northwest. East. Weekly rates are the high beneath Port Talbot, where there are 613 cases for every 100,000 people, twice the Welsh national rate. Rhondda, Blaenau, Gwent, Merthyr Tydfil, Swansea and Torfaen are also recording cases above 400 per 100,000 according to data collected by the UK government. Within these areas, though, are particularly high pockets of coronavirus, including rates above 1,200 cases per 100,000 in Carew and Bridgend, Albert and Risolfan in Port Talbot and Ferndale and Maria Rondo. So how does this compare with England? Nationally, cases rate of 150 cases per 1,000 is roughly half that in Wales. And re-inspection of Medway, England, currently has no local authorities with the case higher than 400 cases per 1,000 people. However, there are small pockets in some areas with high case rates. It includes Great Chell, Stoke-on-Trent, where cases are as high as 1,313 per 100,000 people, although mass testing might contribute to this. Chatham, South and parts of Rochester and Medway also have high rates. These local hotspots could be due to an outbreak in school, hospitals and workplaces, which can be controlled if found quickly. In October, many of the university towns and cities saw localised outbreaks on the campuses, including Fallow Field in Manchester, where the rate went as high as 7,574 cases per 1,000. Speaking to BBC's Breakfast, Mr Drakeford said, "The virus is in a very difficult position in Wales. I wouldn't describe it as out of control." Mr Drakeford said he had been taking action to bring the virus under control through his decision to ban the sale of alcohol in hospitality venues and closing them in evenings. In the teeth of the opposition, he said, from other parties, the firebreak did everything hoped. Defending his government handing off the crisis, he emphasised the personal responsibility of the Welsh citizens in bringing rates down. He denied that Wales had to come to the firebreak too early. The firebreak period did everything that we hoped. It set the clock back 3 weeks. It gave us 3 weeks where the R number was below 1. But that gains had warned since. Mr Drakeford has said, and that it's partly because despite the very strict rules we have here in Wales, fatigue, people's sense of no hope for the future has meant that not everybody has been unwilling to abide by restrictions that are still necessary. After the firebreak, Wales abandoned the system of local lockdowns, which had covered most of the population, effectively barred non-essential travel outside of council boundaries. But Mr Drakeford insisted that the first firebreak rules were very strict. That was stricter than the rules we had before we went into it, in restricting people's ability to meet outside homes and meeting in gardens. A smaller number of people were able to meet outdoors and so on. He has said, what the opposition has said. Andrew R.T. Davis, the Welsh Conservative health spokesman, said, "It would seem that there is those within the Welsh Labour-led government speaking from different scripts. Messaging is confusing and contradictory. But this is set against the backdrop of the highest reported rates of deaths and new infections in the UK. And at the same time, the number of days person needs to self-isolate for being reduced to 10. Hardly fitting into the narrative's Labour, been pushing of keeping Wales safe." Plaid Cymru health spokesman Run Ap Lowerth said, "We all have a responsibility as individuals to do the right things to keep ourselves, friends, families and communities safe. But government can't simply try to deflect all the blame onto others. Ministers have to keep their side of the bargain by putting robust strategies in place, enforcing restrictions properly, communicating effectively and giving people the support they need to stop the spread of the virus." Plaid Cymru has called for more sustainable measures as we came out of the firebreak, including a more gradual easing of restrictions and optimising Wales' own testing capacity to reach a 24-hour turnaround timescale target. Labour Welsh Government failed to do that, and now hospitality is paying our price. The grim figures of the COVID case deaths and hospital inpatients are increasing the pressure of ministers. They say that Labour of some members of the public party explains this picture. Well, no one can deny that the choices we make have consequences for COVID spread. Public behaviour alone can't explain why Wales has become an outer amongst the home nations. After all, England, Scotland and Northern Ireland, all the people making choices about their lives, just as we do in Wales. Policy decisions are relevant too, and so it is timing of them. The First Minister insists that the controversial hospitality restrictions will start to make a difference soon, but the Christmas relaxation will likely push case rates in the wrong direction. That means more tough policy decisions are imminent. There was a debate about the alcohol. In a synod on Wednesday, the Welsh Conservatives and Plaid called for measures introduced Friday to ban scale of alcohol in hospitality venues to be looked at again. Mental health is going to be going through the roof in such climate. Support alcohol not being sold in hospitalities and bootlegger stores. Conservative Darren Miller called for the immediate suspension of the regulations and for a more targeted and proportionate approach going forward. We believe that the decision to impose severe restrictions on hospitality and entertainment industries across Wales is neither proportionate nor reasonable, he said. Plaid Cymru's Ruan Ap Lowerth said the party wanted to rethink because elements of the nationwide restrictions were wrong. Some people will question the logic of the latest measures, he said, because 4 people can meet for coffee, but not even an individual can have a quiet pint in the same establishment. We look at the elected dictatorship, but the Health Minister, Warren Geffen, said he hoped the sobering, troubling and unenabling serious figures of the last few days will be giving all members the time to pause and reflect. As we face the prospect of greater harm, as we face the prospect of hard, difficult and deadly winter ahead of us, without further changes, I hope that in the face of the prospect members will reflect on whether this Synod should vote today to relax the restrictions. I believe so. It will undoubtedly cause greater harm and undoubtedly will lead to avoidable deaths for people we serve. Independent Reform Alliance, Miss Caroline Jones said she was disappointed that the Synod was simply being asked to rubber stamp decisions which have already been made. This isn't democracy. This has become an elected dictatorship, she said. Synod members voted to reject this serious opposition demand for changes to the strategy. Conservatives called for ministers to publish the evidence they based the decision for closing indoor entertainment venues and to make sufficient financial support available to businesses in a timely manner, which is supported by all the parties in the chamber. Members will vote on whether they approve the regulation themselves next week. I just want to, we don't realise how lucky we are to be part of the United Kingdom. I mean, when I negotiate network research with people from the United States, all over the states, all different, Colorado, Texas, California, New York, I speak to a lot of people on a daily basis. I don't understand why every single citizen, nearly every single citizen in the US feels safe with a loaded weapon in their pocket as they go shopping or at home in their chest of drawers. Imagine the state of mental health people in the UK. We are so lucky that we don't have weapons handed out to the average Joe Blogs. Imagine all the authorities being shot at. I mean, us listeners, us speakers, living a normal life, do not carry guns. But you go to America, they carry guns. Imagine if you had a row with your wife, or your wife went to turn TV over. She had a handgun in her pocket. You said no. What's she going to do? She's upset. She wants to watch her program. She's going to shoot you in the foot. No, I'm watching my program. Bugger off. Bang, in the foot. Or, you catch your wife in bed with your best mate when you get home from work. You pull the handgun out. You're going to blow a hole in her private parts, aren't you? It's ludicrous. I'm not scrutinising the US, the people, because it's the way they're bread and buttered, isn't it? It's their tradition to have a handgun. It's their tradition to feel not anxiety by having a handgun. But I'll be having anxiety to worry about what other handgun the other person's got in their pocket. He might have a rocket launcher. He might have an AK-47. I've got a Glock. I've got Magnum. He's got a sniper. He can shoot me from 10 miles away, while I'm entering my vehicle at any time. Imagine coming into conflict with someone and you've only got a handgun and, the guy you're coming after has got a sniper. You'd be so scared to go to work the next day. You'd be so scared to take your kids to school. You'd be so scared to go to the supermarket. Your anxiety, you're anxious. I'm anxious every day. It's, like I say, we keep going back to that purgatory life, but you have to let go. It's hard to let go. It's hard to forget. Scars are there for life. Scars don't release from your memory. Every one of us have probably been through the war at some stage of our life and come out the end. Come out the other end. I'm still here to tell the tale. That's what you got to remember. You're still here to tell the tale. There's always someone worse off around the corner. Always someone worse off. Not always got that moral support that needed all the time. You want a shoulder to talk to. You need someone to talk to. This problem shared is a problem half. I live inside this dusty old building on my own. Let's have a short break, guys. Then we're gonna finish up with no business like show business. It's been really, as you guys just coming in, I am overwhelmed. Like I said, the problem is shared. There's a problem half. I've got a let me see, guys, I've got PayPal, if you don't mind, if you can make a donation, I'll be overwhelmed. If you can't, it's not the end of the world. Let me tell you, it's not the end of the world. I respect all the support.
After World War II, the white middle class sort of prosperity as a result of bills like the GI Bill. And African Americans who are coming home from war didn't get those benefits simply because it.
Bear with me. That's not quite the thing I wanted, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Predominantly getting the formation of the UK politics. Thank you everyone for tuning in for the absolute update. It really does mean an awful lot. And please subscribe to our show. It's Proclamation News and Government. You are talking with the finder, the author, the absolute creator of Proclamation News and Government. Here we go. I've got a short introduction. I'll be with you just shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Proclamation News and Government. It's with the prodigious, it's the prominent professor at PNG. Why get involved? You want to get involved in politics if you know where to start. Party politics, people politics, help the ecosystem, pollution to our environment. Talk about hydropolitics, anything. You want to take a part, you want to have your voice heard. You want to get involved in environmental friendly and stop pollution to businesses, such as all kinds of business, farming, pollution of the air. You want to get involved. Don't know to start. Well, I'll give you a bit of detail. Firstly, please subscribe, share. I want more subscribers, more followers. It's the prodigious, the prominent professor at PNG. How to get involved. Speak to one of your local constituency MPs. I'm a Conservative trainee councillor at the moment. I'm looking at all business, the sociological side of things in business. How does it interrupt in our business? Maybe their business too close to the suburban area in a state of criminology. Anyway, as a member, if you want to become a member, you can play a key role in the party, supporting the work we're doing in government and contributing the ideas, policies and future of the party. You'll be invited to join us at party conference and to
Bear with me, what's happening now? Oh, what's happening there, gents? In the bugger. I'm doing that then. Just about to share with you guys. Oh, I still can. Hang on. No problem. Bear with me about 2 lovely seconds, I think. Can I? I don't know if I can. No, I can't. It's alright, no problem. Okay, moving on. That didn't want to work. I don't know why. Really don't know why. What's happened now? Probably maybe. Anyway, this thing ran up from it. I don't know why. It's a new one, isn't it, ladies and gents? Halfway through the show, that happens. Anyway, moving on. With no business like show business. Not quite sure what happened there. It's not the end of the world. Just wanted you guys to know we are sponsored by O2 Network Providers. It's the best network on the market at the moment. It's got pretty much, although it's on the smallest island in the UK, one of them, the signal is phenomenal. The signal is absolutely phenomenal. Really is. The signal is phenomenal. I'm not going to lie. It's well worth diverting over to network providers. Got all the latest devices. Ring the O2 Guru to find out the best tariff to go in, and you have chances to win free trips away for you and your partner for meals, spa days, family days out, all kinds of special offers to to get. All specials to get. Even you can get a mobile phone, get a 3-year contract, and you get an iPad. I think you pay the upfront fee, and you can cancel after a month and not have to pay any more additional costs for the cancellation. As long as you keep your mobile phone updated. John Lennon, no business like show business. He's in the headline. John Lennon. I was there the day he died. Tom Brooke is the editor. 40 years ago, on the 8th of December 1980, the former Beatle John Lennon was shot dead as he returned at his home at the Dakota apartment building in New York. The BBC's Tom Brooke was the first British journalist to report live from the scene. Here he recounts how Lennon's death has haunted him ever since. In New York, as I go about my daily routines, I'm constantly reminded of John Lennon, of both his life and death. I now live just 4 blocks from the Dakota. I go past the building virtually every day, and whenever I go to my gym on the west of 63rd Street, it is part of a complex which also houses a hotel. The very hotel Lennon's killer Mark David Chapman, he stayed in on his first night in New York. Mark Chapman shot John Lennon as he returned to his Dakota apartment. Lennon continues to define my career. I've been a broadcast journalist for more than 40 years. In that time, I've filed more than 3,000 stories for the BBC's outlets, and I've interviewed most of the big names in the movie industry. But all the people want to know about what they meet when they meet me is what it is like to cover John Lennon's death. It's absolutely tragic. He's always, John Lennon has been touched the hearts of many. Absolute legend, isn't he? John Lennon is absolute legend. To get his life taken away by the average Joe Bloggs in society, absolute men's rehabilitations. Everyone across the world would have been distraught from this absolute horrific episode. Tuesday marks the 40th anniversary of the death of John Lennon. As a young journalist newly settled in New York City, I covered it for the BBC. It haunts me. You can check out my personal reflection on the night of BBC World News and the BBC News channel this weekend. The BBC is not responsible for the content of external sites. Well, I have to admit it was a huge story, but the logistics of the reporting were actually quite simple. I commanded a public phone booth in the site of Dakota, fielding questions for the BBC Radio 4 Today's presenter Brian Redhead, among others in London, and providing the latest developments. When I wasn't doing that, I was interviewing some of the hundreds of Lennon fans who were congregating in the street. Everyone around me was crying. Some of the fans were hysterical. I was a big Lennon follower myself. The other day, I looked back at a photograph on the first official BBC ID card from that era. It's a very scary sight, and I'm amazed the corporation ever gave me a job. But I definitely looked like a John Lennon fan, so yes, I was mostly pained that night too, but I managed not to choke up the air. People always ask me to describe what it is like at the Dakota in the immediate aftermath of his death. I'll never forget, one young woman said, "I feel like I've just been punched in the stomach." I think her words summed it up perfectly. 2 years after the former Beatles died, I returned to the Dakota interview of Yoko Ono. She had just begun to comment on Lennon's death. She spoke on him in the present tense. You know how big the Beatles were? I absolutely adore their music, really do. The shooting of John Lennon. I mean, I didn't actually look no further than the Beatles. I just knew the Beatles a bit. I didn't know this actually existed, the death. Life after the death. Or, life after the death is me finding out John Lennon how he died. What an absolute tragic way to have his life taken away. It's somebody's, here come all tap up, here come all flat up, he come, growing up slowly, he got. I'll sing it after this. I mean, I'll sing a tribute to the John Lennon fan. He's absolutely phenomenal. He really is. I'm going to do it live on my YouTube while you guys are here. She told me he's still alive. He's still with us. His spirit will go on. You can't kill a person that easily. That is perhaps what is most noteworthy. 40 years after Lennon died, just how much his spirit is still alive in terms of millions of young people who are now migrating to his music. In the run-up to his anniversary, I spent the past few days speaking to some of them. They will tell me they are drawn to Lennon's music, his lyrics, and particular brand of idealistic pacifism, which they went to bring some comfort in these pandemic times. But to be objective, I know not everything in relation to Lennon was wondrous. He could be mean and nasty, and he admitted that he abused women. None of this has really affected his legacy. If anything, his stature as a musician has grown since he died. I think what I liked about Lennon was that he had an authentic voice, not just musically. He did and said more controversial things, but he wasn't a fake. He was always his own person. He was one of the most significant figures in the 20th century pop culture history, a true British original, and I find myself for decades after he died still fascinated by him. I mean, the guy is absolutely phenomenal. He really, really is. I'm going to try and play a tribute to the Beatles. The Beatles fans, John Lennon himself. Absolutely, John Lennon himself. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hoping it's going to work. I really am. Beatles karaoke, guys. We're going to enjoy it. So last song of the day. I'm hoping you can help share it. We can, you see how much I really endeavour singing. I really do.
The Bluetooth device
Yes.
is ready to pair.
I'll play Let It Be. Let It Be. Well, I won't play Hey Jude. Hang on, guys. I reckon I've got a bit of a short battery. Smashing the gaff up. Yes, ladies and gents. Last song here, paying tribute to Beatles. Hope you can hear, hope you can enjoy it. Here we go. Yes, to John Lennon. When I find myself in times of trouble, mom's to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the heart broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer. Let it be. Thank you to my listeners. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that we will see. There will be an answer. Let it be. 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 Speak. There will be an answer. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Tribute to John Lennon, the Beatles. Tribute to John Lennon, ladies and gents. Come. You know, his life taken away. He got shot. Beetles, John Lennon. Up in here, proclamation, news and gatherings. Let it be. John Lennon. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be. One for John Lennon, come on. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Still until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. Tribute to John Lennon. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Yeah, let it be. There will be an answer. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be. John Lennon got shot Tuesday. John Lennon got shot. If you didn't know, you better get to know. He got his life taken away, and it's playing a tribute to John Lennon live on my YouTube, my Castbox, my Podbean. I've got about 1,000 listeners supporting the journalism that I do daily on Facebook, YouTube as well. Thank you, everyone. That is the show. Thank you so much for the support, ladies and gents. That is a tribute to John Lennon. I'll tell you a bit about John Lennon's tribute. It is a 20th century pop culture. Is it in history? Guinness Book of Records, John Lennon had the Beatles. One of his, famous songs, Let It Be. There's many songs I love of the Beatles. That is one of them. He was a phenomenal guy. Tom, when he's 40, he's quite a shrugging looking guy, fully grown beard, his hair was down to his shoulders. Everyone was crying in it, hysterically when the guy got shot. So his life taken away. It's absolutely horrific episode for the supporters of the Beatles, absolutely. I mean, I like the Beatles today. Even today, I still sing their songs. I think they're absolutely. He's a phenomenal guy. All their music it's very prodigious. Absolutely. The guy that shot him is David Chapman. Shot John Lennon as he returned to his Dakota apartment. Imagine that. If that was your brother or your sister, and you got shot going back to your hotel room, just because he was an etiquette man, etiquette guy. He was a phenomenal musician. Absolutely phenomenal. And these jealous, hatred people can actually put scrutiny to your virtue. To your virtue. You got hatred. It's jealous, hatred people that ruin your etiquette self. Anyway, ladies and gents, thank you for tuning in YouTube. Tony Angel, always loyal support, always in here supporting my show. Really appreciate it. Everyone on Castbox, Podbean, and I've got my Instagram as well. Thank you for supporting the show. I'm on YouTube, guys. You're always welcome to support the show. I do live journalism for about sometimes an hour, sometimes 2 hours. Depends how much energy I've got, but that was actually a phenomenal show, having a Beetles song at the end. Thank you so much for coming in, supporting the show. If you want to follow me on YouTube, it's Proclamation News and Gatherings. I've got the same logo as I've got on here, so you'll see it. So if you want to follow us on there daily, feel free. We're inside. I'm actually sitting inside Westminster Parliament on the screen on my Facebook. I've got obviously an editor to make it look more predominantly etiquette, professional. Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming by, supporting me. Appreciate it. God bless. Take care. One love. What's going on there? What is going on? Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you enjoy the show on YouTube. I really do. It's been phenomenal. Thank you so much. Take care. God bless, and speak soon. I'm not sure what's going on now. Whatever it's doing, it's not doing what I want to.